So it's kind of crazy to think that I've had this channel for over 2 years, well, over a year now, a year and a half, 2 years, and I haven't made this video. In this video, I'd like to talk about 5 ways that Spanish has changed my life completely. I haven't mentioned this a lot, but learning Spanish has impacted my life directly in many ways, and it's changed my perspective, it's changed the trajectory of my life, it's changed a lot of different things. So in this video, I'd like to present you all with 5 things. I think I actually may have 7, but at the very least 5 ways that Spanish has changed my life. So the first way that Spanish has changed my life is that it has changed my perspective on my country, where I'm from, in good and bad ways, in positive and negative ways. So I'll actually start off with the negatives. Growing up, I was very insulated, not really from a shelter perspective as a kid, but insulated from other cultures, meaning I was around people from other cultures, but I primarily spent time in engaging with my own culture, learning more about my own culture, focusing on my own culture, and that's fine. That's actually, I think, a healthy experience for a young child, but I never really thought about, hey, some of the things that I consider to be normal in my culture here in the United States, are these things inherently normal to human beings? Are they inherently normal, or is this something that I'm just used to in my culture? And so in terms of the negatives, one way that Spanish has impacted my life in a negative way is it's allowed me to realize that where I live is not perfect. The United States is not the most, I'm gonna get to the positives in one second, but it's not this idealistic country where everything is perfect and that it's where everyone's envious of being. I've learned through learning Spanish and meeting new people and actually being able to understand what people are saying around the world in Spanish-speaking countries. I've learned that there are a lot of people that don't have a desire to come to the United States because it's a culture of work, because it's a productivity culture, it's overly demanding, it's super expensive. We do have a lack of culture in certain aspects, and so those are some negative things that I was exposed to as a result of me learning Spanish. Now, on a positive note, learning Spanish has also helped me appreciate my country, and if you're from the United States, our country, it's helped me appreciate it a lot more because I understand that there are opportunities that are provided to me here that do not exist in other countries, like literally do not exist. It's not even fathomable, some of the opportunities that are available to us here, some of the freedoms that we have here, some of the comforts that we have here. It's just, you can't negate how well we have it here, and it almost makes what we are is we're like the rich kid that the people that I would say this, let me say that, I'm rambling here, I'm stuttering also, but I'm gonna keep this in because this is really how I feel. What happens is because it's so good here, things are so sweet here, but we just don't realize it, especially people that don't travel. We start complaining, not realizing that we sound like the rich kid complaining because their food's not warm enough, or we sound like the rich kid that's complaining because they don't have the newest model of a car, if that makes any sense. If that analogy makes sense, that's what I've realized a lot of us are here in the United States when we complain about this country. This country has a lot of great things to offer, a lot of amazing opportunities, a lot of great things that I've learned that through traveling, and that desire to travel and learn more about other cultures was sparked by me learning Spanish. So again, the first way that Spanish has impacted my life or changed my life is it's given me a greater perspective on the pros and cons of living in my country. It's helped me see how great my country is, and it's also helped me learn about the downsides of living and growing up in my country. The second way that learning Spanish has impacted my life, has changed my life, is it's helped me become more empathetic. It's helped me become more understanding, less judgmental. I don't view people from a perspective of groupthink anymore, and I'll explain what I mean. I was never really one that judged people a lot or, you know, made assumptions about certain groups of people. I never did that, but that is something that is like a character of it's a characteristic of human beings. It's just human nature to kind of lump people into groups, especially if we have certain experiences with 1 or 2 people. And so what I've learned through learning Spanish and interacting with so many people from different countries is that yes, there are certain norms that are, you know, that we can consider, that we can associate with certain groups, but at the same time, learning Spanish has helped me realize that it is very true that everyone is an individual. And I've learned this through my experiences speaking with people traveling. For example, and when I know a lot of times people associate stereotypes with negative things, but even positive stereotypes. For example, a positive stereotype that I have for a lot of Latin American countries is that they're very family oriented. That's a stereotype, a positive stereotype, an assumption that most people make. I'm aware now that although that is a common stereotype, that is not a uniform characteristic of people in Latin America, because I've met people and talked to people that are like, yeah, I don't really mess with my family. I don't really like my family. I've even cut my family members off. And it would be something that's something I would never believe had I not actually immersed myself. Sorry, I'm getting distracted with all this wind and this noise, but if I hadn't immersed myself in the culture and actually started talking to people and learned that there's nuances here. We can't judge people based on what group they're from. So with that said, I now am more aware of not lumping people into groups, not assuming things about people. And again, I was never big on doing that from the beginning, but I'm just even more fine-tuned to not do that. Oh man, I can't talk. I'm just more mentally aware of not doing that now, because I've just had the experience of speaking with people that contradict, again, both positive and negative stereotypes about different groups. So I don't really lump people into groups. I interact with people as individuals. Obviously, I respect their cultures and respect their costumbres, but at the same time, I take people as they are, individuals. So the next way that Spanish has changed my life or impacted my life greatly is that it's given me more mental peace. Now, why is that? The reason for that is this. I'll give you a hypothetical scenario. Let's say tomorrow, all of the major news stations come out and say, hey, the United States of America is about to enter the biggest recession ever. We're about to experience a cultural decline. We're experiencing Armageddon. Just catastrophe is about to hit the country. For some reason, I don't know why I get this feeling, it's not a conscious thing, but for some reason, me knowing Spanish, and on top of that, me traveling to different countries, but me knowing Spanish lets me know that in the back of my mind, worst case scenario, if all else fails here in the United States, I have somewhere that I could survive and work and take care of myself because I'm able to speak another language, in this case, Spanish. So that manifests itself in multiple different ways. Again, it could be an economic reason. I'm pretty financially literate, but let's say something happened where I couldn't retire in the United States if I wanted to. Well, I know now in the back of my mind, it gives me peace knowing that, hey, I have an ability that will allow me to live and retire in a country with a lower cost of living. This is not my personal case, but let's say I was living in a state or I felt like I didn't really vibe well with the people in the country. Well, I know because I speak another language, I have other countries that I can go to and possibly experience a better cultural experience that aligns better with my personality. Or just being honest, or let's say someone says, yeah, you know what, I don't really like dating in the United States. I would like to experience something different. That opportunity is available to them. Again, that's not my personal situation, but I'm just giving examples. And that could apply to a lot of different things. It can relate to access to quality food. It can relate to access to health, accessible health care. It can be a lot of different things. There are a lot of reasons why someone would feel the need to leave the United States. And the Spanish language gives you kind of a crutch, a leg to stand on to be able to feel empowered to make that move, okay? And so it gives me mental peace knowing that, hey, let's say I get older and my kids in the future want braces, but I find for some reason just the cost of healthcare is super expensive here. I can take my kids to another country where healthcare is much cheaper. I can speak the language, get them their braces, and we can come back. Again, that's the first example that came to my mind, but there are a lot of examples like that where you feel more empowered, thereby giving you more peace, knowing that you speak Spanish. The fourth way that Spanish has really impacted me or changed my life is that it's shown me that I can really do anything that I put my mind to. Now that's so cliche, that's something that our parents all tell us growing up and that we say to younger people now, but it's literally the truth. There's no better feeling than, remembering when you first started, like when you first had the desire to learn Spanish, you're like, I really hope in a few years I can speak the language and conversate. And you see people speaking, you're like, oh my gosh, I wish I could be there one day. There's no greater feeling than actually being there. The only thing I can compare it to are other accomplishments that I've had in my life. For example, one for me is like paying off my student loan debt. I remember when I graduated college, I was like, I want to pay off my student loan debt. And there was no greater feeling than sending that last payment to that finance company and just feeling free. It's like I accomplished something. Or I remember telling myself, hey, I'm gonna learn the guitar. And there's no better feeling playing a song that you've heard growing up. In the back of your mind, you remember, like, I remember I couldn't even pluck a string, and now I'm playing a full song, soloing and doing all that stuff. So Spanish gives me that same feeling. It's like it indirectly gives you a constant pat on your back to let you know, like, I can really accomplish anything that I want to if I really put my mind to it. So that's one intangible benefit, but it's a benefit in itself that you just build your self-confidence. It's really changed my perspective on myself. I'm really proud of myself, honestly, when I hear myself talk. So that's the fourth way that Spanish has really impacted me or changed my life. And the fifth way that Spanish has changed my life, and this is probably the most profound, is that it's given me, I have a lot more personal relationships as a result of me speaking Spanish. So I know in my last video I mentioned to you all that I would possibly be traveling to Guatemala or Honduras or Panama, I can't remember, and I would love to go to those countries, but I'm highly tempted to travel back to Colombia. And the reason for that is because I've built so many strong relationships. I know you might be like, how have you built a strong relationship? How? But honestly, objectively, I've built a lot of strong relationships with a lot of Colombians. So I personally, just me personally, through my little life experience, have found that relationships are the things that bring me the most joy, bring me the most fulfillment, the most happiness. And so as a result of that, I don't even know if I could even quantify how much these added relationships, friendships, what's the word, conocidos in Spanish, they say, acquaintances that I have now as a result of Spanish. It's like immeasurable how much that's impacted my life, impacted my quality of life, because again, I personally value relationships and bonds with people a lot. And so that's another way that Spanish has really impacted my life. I'm in this video also distracted because I have a lot of people walking around me in this park that are staring at me like, what does he have in his hand first off, and why is he talking to a stick? But that's the fifth way that Spanish has really impacted my life, building positive, healthy, long-lasting, I would say, relationships. So I thought I had 7, but I think I actually have 6 here, even though the title of this video will be 5. The final way that I personally have been impacted, well, my life has personally been impacted by me learning Spanish, is that it's impacted me in relation to work. So as you all know, I've been a math teacher for the past 5 or 6 years, I can't remember. But this year coming up, what I will be an ESOL teacher. I love teaching math. I still would like to teach math, but as a result of my love and passion for Spanish and helping people learn Spanish and English, and just learn in general, next year I will be an ESOL teacher. And if you don't know what that is, that's pretty much someone that, if there are students in a school that don't speak English well, there's a teacher that's dedicated to taking those students out of their normal classes to teach them English so that they can get to a level of English where they're proficient, and so that they can start understanding their normal content teachers. And so I'll be doing that next year. I'm super excited for that. It'll be smaller classrooms. I'll be able to help students improve their English, and I'll be using Spanish on a daily basis. So that's another way that it's impacted me, and it may impact you as well in the labor field, in your job, in your potential career opportunities. Learning another language opens a lot of doors. So that's the 6th thing. I'm sweating like a pig here. I apologize for being distracted as always here. A lot of times when I'm making the videos, I'm like, oh, this is gonna sound horrible. But when I edit it, it comes out decently. So I hope this video comes out pretty well. Hope these points really show you how well Spanish has impacted my life. And if you have any other ways that Spanish has impacted your life that I've left off, there are others that I've left off also, but if you have any specific to you, if you could drop them in the comment box below so we can all see if we relate to those things. So again, I appreciate it. I apologize again as always for being distracted. Ciao, and I hope to have some more quality videos coming out soon. Ciao pues. And it makes me, I'm getting distracted, somebody's looking at me. Okay, give me 1 second, somebody's staring at me, it's just so awkward.